Yours. Greetings and welcome. Hello, Watford supporters everywhere across the world. Yours truly, Omar here. Welcome to a brand new edition of the YOU ORNS Watford FC post-match. It's a great pleasure to have you aboard on this very first day of November 2025. Get in, says Brown Electrons on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed for joining live on YouTube at YOU ORNS WFC, and of course on X at YOU ORNS WFC as well for the YOU ORNS Watford FC post-match. It finished Watford 3, Boro 0. How about that? Cowabunga! Boom shakalaka. We got the job done today, our first clean sheet of the season, and another first for us this season. The first time we scored 3 goals in a championship match. Whoa, this season. Those 2 firsts are absolutely glorious. Very important first, as the Watford players are embracing the former head coach here, Rob Edwards. Not a great homecoming for him, a return for him. Oh my goodness me, he did not like what he saw from his second place Middlesbrough side today. But we dominated the game and we made Middlesbrough look as poor as they were. This was a massive win for Watford off of the back of last week's 3-1 defeat to Coventry. It was the first time we'd given up 3 goals in a game this season in the championship. And so now we turn around and do the favor to Middlesbrough and score 3 of our own today, as Middlesbrough concede 3 goals for the first time this season. And we obviously score 3, as I said earlier. What a fantastic performance this was. And as Matt says, come on, YOU ORNS, what a win. Matt, this was a sensational win, and it was needed. It was very much needed after what happened last week. We showed promise in the game last week against Coventry. I thought that we were very forward-thinking against Coventry. The difference between that game and this one is that we had a defense. Today, we had a sensational defensive alignment. We had an excellent partnership with Kevin and with Pollock, who was magnificent today in that back line. Jeremy Ngakia was absolutely superb today. You can make a case for either Ngakia or Matty Pollock for man of the match. Jeremy Ngakia did himself no harm with an excellent assist on the second goal. What a superb assist that was. He has done a lot of this season with these long diagonals and great passes, and he has that in his locker in Ngakia. We already know that he scored 2 goals in 1 match. That was, of course, against Oxford several weeks ago at the Vic. But Jeremy Ngakia continues to show you why he is the player he is, and he continues to vindicate Mark Noble, the former West Ham, the now former West Ham captain, who at the time when he was captain at West Ham was absolutely furious with the front office at West Ham, having given Ngakia up. That was something that he said that West Ham would live to regret. Now, listen, West Ham are struggling in the Premier League right now, but Watford absolutely have taken on board Ngakia. And Ngakia, who's had ups and downs in his career at Watford, has been often injured, has been the target of criticism from some Watford fans over the years, has come good. And I've been telling you that Ngakia was going to continue to do good things. Just give him a chance. I've been saying that for 2 or 3 seasons now. Make or break season from him a couple of seasons ago. But today, he's come good. He's just had a lot of injuries. This man can really do things on the pitch, whether he's in defense or whether he's in attack. And speaking of attack, a fantastic job by everybody today. Javi set this lot up very well. It's a 4-4-2, and he's established a partnership, at least after this game, between Doumbia and Luca, both of whom scored today. And Luca, who had not scored for, more than 2 months. You know, let's be fair, it's been almost 3 months since his last Watford goal. He scored, of course, the 2 goals against QPR in the opening match at the Vic, of course, way back in August, I think August the 16th or something, and had come close against Swansea. But since that time, really had not had any service, really did not get involved in the game as much as he would like, was on the bench for a couple of games under the previous manager, and today got a great flick on from an excellent pass. Again, that great cross from Ngakia, which was niftily dispatched by Luca for his 3rd of the season. Of course, Imran Loser, before that, had scored what is his leading 5th goal in this team this season with a fantastic bit of running from Quadro Bar. Was delighted with Quadro Bar being healthy, being on the pitch, starting the game, and delivering the goods. As Iran Kunda here, I'm looking over at him at this monitor, is taking off his shirt and giving it to a Watford fan in the stands. Very, very good job there from Iran Kunda. And he came on, speaking of which, came on in, I think, the 70 some odd minute, provided some really good sparks for Watford, who from start to finish today, let's be fair, were brilliant. Watford never dipped in their performance today. And that's what Javi Gracia demands. He absolutely demands that. I saw him standing on the sideline. I'm sure you did as well, watching this match. And he was absolutely thumping his hands together. And he wanted more. He wanted more out of his Watford side. Watford with 9 total shots, 4 on target, 45% of the possession. Middlesbrough with 14 shots, 4 on target, and they obviously had 53% of the possession. So, as was cited in the commentary, Watford playing more like the away side today. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. We were patient with our chances. We were composed. I really loved the look of us today. Our attack was very strong, as I was saying a few moments ago. We didn't dip in our performance from start to finish. It was a very strong, very confident Watford side today, focused. We were together on all areas of the pitch. Yeoman's work by Cipriano today. He's probably not going to be mentioned by a lot of people, but I thought Cipriano was superb. Listen, from start to finish today, every player to a man did his job and did it well. No flagging, no weakness in the performance, no unevenness. How many times for the Watford supporters? And thank you for joining us here on X and on YouTube. I'll read out your comments. If you have any comments on X, please you write them in. I'll read them out. Or better yet, if you'd like to come on the microphone, give us a shout and we'll put you up and we'll listen to you. But, you know, how many times for the Watford supporters have we talked about the unevenness of our performances? One half great, another half poor. One half poor, another half great. How many times have we done that? We've done that a million times. But today, we saw 2 strong halves of football, 2 committed halves of football. Matty Pollock, outstanding. I had criticized Matty on a number of occasions through a few weeks this season. Hadn't been really up to his best, but I think he really had a point to prove today against the former team, one of the teams he used to be at. I think it was in their academy or something with Middlesbrough. And he really did show Middlesbrough what they were missing with an astounding defensive display from Matty Pollock. That's the vintage Matty Pollock that we hadn't seen here this season. Now, I know he got injured and he's come back, but that was the Matty Pollock that we know and love. That's the Matty Pollock that we want to continue to see. So hats off to you, Matty. A fantastic job by you today. You put your body on the line. You led the line well. Your partnership with Kevin looks very strong. And really hats off to you because, again, I've been criticizing you, Matty, for a number of weeks. But again, I do hope you continue to build on what was a sensational performance today by you, and you get all the plaudits. You can make a case between he and Ngakia and Loser. The YOU ORNS man of the match could really be shared by all 3 of them because they were all good. The whole team was good. I thought Loser was sensational, and Ngakia was brilliant, and Matty Pollock was astoundingly good as well. So, look, Doumbia today, you can't forget him. His goal was a thing of genius. That was a beautiful strike from him that surely will be a goal of the season contender. It's got to be right up there, if not the goal of the season forerunner right now, the leader at the moment. There have been some really fine goals scored this season, but I don't think you're going to get too many better than that strike from Doumbia today. It was at least 25 yards out. He took his chance, just latched onto it, straight into the top corner, or wherever it went. It was in the back of the net. I had a couple of Watford fans on X telling me that there was an offside in that goal. That apparently, now listen, I didn't see it. I watched the game. I didn't see it. And if there was one, it was really incidental. I don't know if any Watford supporter listening to this or watching on YouTube saw this as well, but there was 1 or 2 Watford fans who were claiming that the goal for us really shouldn't have stood with Doumbia's shot. Apparently, Luca may have got involved and it may have come off of him and he was in offside position. I'd have to look at the replay again. In fact, I've just missed the replay because I just looked over at the monitor here and I just see Doumbia running. Now, I'm looking at the replay now. It's flicked on. Doumbia controls the ball, okay? He's running at the defender, takes a shot, and it did take a flick off Luca. Ooh, and Luca, so that's a good call for those Watford fans that said that. Luca actually tapped his head and kind of looked like he was about to hide. Oh my God, that is so true that ball did come off. Ah! Oh my goodness, it does come off of him. It looks like it. Ooh, how on earth did they not pick that up? Listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Dumbia. That is, I'm just looking again at it. That is a sensational strike. And yes, it took a little bit of a deflection off of Luca, who was in an offside position. So it's not that Luca can claim the goal. The linesman just missed that, and that did come off of Luca, and he was in an offside position. Listen, I'm going to take nothing away from Dumbia. That's a sensational strike. Listen, we're going to get some breaks here and there. We've had a number of breaks against us this season. So listen, I'm not going to begrudge Dumbia. And I incorrectly said on X that this was his first goal for the club. And I got the corrections. And I listen, I'm not beyond being corrected. None of us is perfect. And yeah, I appreciate those Watford fans who corrected me and told me, one of them told me that he had scored against Burnley last season, which I didn't remember. I normally remember these things, but I didn't remember it today. And he had also scored, I was told by another Watford fan, against Bristol City last season. So, and now I do remember that goal. So, yeah, thank you for the corrections for the Watford supporters. We do this together, and that's what this is all about. We're one Watford family. And listen, sometimes we disagree, but today we cannot disagree on this performance. It was superb today as the rain lashes down at Vicarage Road. Some sensational results today as well, with Birmingham putting 4 past Portsmouth, Stoke putting 5 past Bristol City, the aforementioned, and Ipswich just throttling QPR by a score of 4-1 away from home. And yesterday, of course, Wrexham defeated top of the table Coventry 3-2. So these are the kinds of results today, not to forget our 3-0 over Middlesbrough today. I thought that when you look at this side, and thank you very much, Watford supporters, for joining. You're more than welcome on X to jump on the line and let's hear from you, or write your comment in if you'd like, and then I'll have that read out. I want to just talk about one other thing with the Watford performance today. The consistency of the performance for me was very important. And Javi had said during the week, it was important for him to analyze the performances and not just the result. He said that in the Watford Observer, as Adam Drury reported it. And I think he really made an effort to get these lads during the week to come and perform in a really strong and assertive way. And look, we're now well past the 10-game mark, right? This is 13 games in. Watford, I think, at 12th. I'm just looking at the table here. They're 12th at the moment, something like that from Watford. So we're on at least 18 points. I just missed the top slide of the table. But the bottom line is that he emphasized our performances. We're past that 10-game mark now. And so what you've got to look at is the quality of the performance. For me, the first 10 games were about getting results and building an identity. Now we look at the performances and look at where we can start mixing and matching with our squad. I thought Dumbia sensational today. All of these lads. Luca was very sharp. He took his goal well. He looked assertive out there, looked confident. He made the runs that he had to make. He had that 4-4-2, which is working at the moment. Iran Kunda off the bench coming in. It was great to see Barr in the team starting, because after he walked off the pitch against Coventry, gingerly holding that shoulder, I was very, very concerned about whether or not he'd even see the light of day in this game today. But I'm very delighted about that. Let me just, before I continue talking about the method and the analysis of the performance that Javi called for and emphasized during the week, let me read out some of your comments on YouTube. I do not want to neglect the YouTubers here. Thank you very much, fellow Watford supporters on YouTube. It's a great pleasure to have you here. The day after Halloween, I will be posting some social media photos of the Halloween costume that I had. I've already posted some of that on X at YOU ORNS WFC, in case you haven't already seen it, but I'll be posting some of that also on Instagram. Oh my goodness. Halloween. I hope you had a good time last night and that you did everything safely and responsibly, but maybe you did not. And it's great to have you here, fellow Watford supporters. Let me read out your comments. Some more of them coming in on YouTube. Brown Electron says, not the biggest Vata fan, but I have to hold my hands up and say he's been quality these last few weeks. Thank you for that, Brown Electrons on YouTube. By the way, one other thing about Vata, he had to come out of this game in the second half. Looked like he was certainly an injury. He had to be helped off the pitch. He couldn't put any weight on his right, which leg? Left leg? I forget which. Left leg, right leg, one of his legs he could not put any weight on. So I'm very concerned, as all of us are very concerned about that. Hopefully that is not a very serious injury. Hopefully it's just a knock or something. But the fact that you have to be helped off the pitch by two people, and you've got your arms cradled around two people helping you either side of you, as you can't put weight on one of your knees or one of your legs, is not a good sign. But let's hope that Vata can come back and that he's okay. Vata, that point that you make, Brown, on YouTube, yeah, he's been really good ever since, by the way, Brown, that he came in the 35th minute of that infamous substitution against Portsmouth with the previous manager. I think that has just been really good for the most part. He was very good last week against Coventry. He's been very good in all of these games. I think there's one game maybe where he wasn't quite up to it, but Vata has been roaring forward in a load of these games. It gives you impetus. It gives you electricity down that left side. I like the fact that Barr started the game on the right today. Of course, I still would love to see Iran Kunda on the pitch with Barr at the same time, but that's obviously not something that I think Gracia is going to do. And I think what you're going to do, what he's going to continue to do, is bring Iran Kunda off the bench as long as the gravy train continues. And with that excellent bit of running from Barr down that right side, it was so good to see him do what we always love to see him do, which is right down that right side, tear down that side, come down that side, come into that space in the low block area on the left-hand side of the pitch for the defense and our right-hand side, and put that ball in for that goal scored by Loser to kick us off in the game. It was so good for that to happen. And that's where Barr is at his best. When he's charging down that right side, he can do it both sides, but when he's charging down that right side, finding a little bit of space, get into the byline and cut the ball across, really in a very deep area on the pitch, and squaring that ball with some pace to it into the goal scorer, in this case, Loser, for his 5th of the season, leading all scorers on our team. That's what you want to see from Barr. That's the effectiveness from Quadro Barr. And he loves his football. It looks like he's got a real spark to him. And as Matt says, Barr, he'll tear you apart again. And he did today. I thought Barr was really strong. Very good. Looked very lively and focused. That's the Barr that we love. And relentless today. A lot of energy and spirit, a lot of physicality, a lot of know-how. That's Quadro Barr. That's our man. He cannot afford, to be coming into games in the 85th minute. When you look back at that, it's absolutely scandalous that even happened. I can understand Barr coming off the bench to start the second half, or even in the 50th or 60th minute. But to leave a man of that talent and skill on your bench until the 85th or the 87th minute is absolutely criminal, actually, by the previous manager. But look, I don't want to keep going back to that. It's all about positives here today on the You ORNS Watford FC post-match. Fellow Watford supporters, thank you very much indeed for your time and for continuing to listen on. Looking for your comments on X. So far, none. So I'll go back to YouTube and read out these remaining comments. There's quite a few of them here. Thank you, fellow Watford supporters on YouTube. Please hit the like button on this video, on all the You ORNS videos, and of course, smash the hearts as well. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that. Now, here's what Matt says on YouTube. We all said last week we didn't want to see Sissoko and Kayembe start in the game, and that's exactly what happened today. The ball seemed to be moving around the pitch a lot quicker without them on. Yes, we did, Matt. We did say that last week. We had said that, I think, even the week before that, because they didn't do a Watford FC You ORNS post-match on YouTube last week. But I definitely, actually, I think I did. I don't remember. I think I did. But the point that Matt makes on YouTube is absolutely one I totally am on board with as well, Matt. So thank you for making it. And I did, and many of you called for Sissoko and Kayembe to sit down in some of these games. Some Watford fans really don't like the two of them. But there's a lot of fans at Watford who do still love and respect Sissoko and Kayembe. In fact, if you heard today, the rookie was singing the praises of Kayembe when he came on the pitch. So, listen, it's not all that. Sometimes you've got some noise on social media amongst some of us, and it sounds perhaps a lot louder than it really is in reality. So look, you heard that. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. When you go to the Vic, or when you're sitting here in San Francisco, California, as I am, and you hear that loud chant for Ido Kayembe. I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding that there's still lots of Watford fans who really like and respect Ido. But I have said, and as many of you as fellow Watford supporters have also said, that both Sissoko and Kayembe should take a back seat and come off the bench in these games. And I stand behind that today, continue to stand behind that, because I really do think that they're effective, more effective coming off the bench than they are starting these games. We've got a big squad. There's no excuse to have to be putting them in starting. And listen, and it was great to see Othmani Mama come into this team, coming onto the bench for the first time, I think, this season after the exploits of the World Cup, the Youth World Cup in Morocco. He was absolutely scintillating there. Got the golden boot, was fantastic. And to see him on the bench, even though he didn't play a part in this game, was really good. And it bodes well. It's going to take some time still. I'm going to continue to say this around Javi. And I'm going to get back to what I said earlier about him analyzing performances and the importance of putting together a performance out there now, in addition to looking at the result itself. It's still going to take Javi some time. You know, today was a very good crystallization and distillation of what he wants. The great beauty and joy of this performance for us, I think, as Watford fans, I think we can all agree on what I'm about to say, is that we can at least see what Javi is doing. I've said this before. I'll say it again today. The performance today and the markups today and the alignment today and our formation and our tactics were so good. You and I, as Watford supporters, we can all see what Javi Gracia, the beloved Javi the Marvelous, is doing. And that is the great thing. And that gives more of a connection on a tactical side to what's going on. Fans are drawn to Javi. Javi's drawn to the fans. In some of the program notes and the digital notes today, before this match, Javi talked about being there with the fans and jumping up and down. He had to have treatment on a calf. And he thanks the physios for helping with that, because he's with you. He's with us. And that's the kind of manager you want here. Win, lose, or draw. You know, that's why Javi will walk on water around here. He really will. Even if we didn't get promoted this season, I think Javi will be still beloved and respected. Now, listen, this is the 13th game of the season. I continue this countdown here, fellow Watford supporters, that we now have 33 games in which to be promoted. Javi Gracia now has 33 games, right? The countdown is on, Javi. The 33 more games to get us back to the Premier League. I mean, that's what the owner's basically saying. He might be thinking it, I should say. But look, Javi Gracia, the great beauty of this is you can see what the man's trying to do. Look, you can complain about who should be starting and who shouldn't be. Would I like to see Max Lane? Of course I would. But the point is that this performance today from front to back was the best of the season. We have built up a very strong continuity at the Vic. We had the very poor performance, that one poor performance against Blackburn. But the challenge for us is to do this away from home. And I thought that last week against Coventry, we were building something. I was not disappointed with the performance at all. It was frustrating. The result was, I think Coventry deserved to win that last week, but I was not disappointed with the performance from us. It was the defending that was our one problem. And of course, many of you did not appreciate the defending. But this is noteworthy. And let me read some more comments. And I have not forgotten what I'm about to say, what I'm going to say about the performance analysis, because there's a point I really want to make. And I don't know if others have points to make on this. But if you do, or anything else Watford related, fellow Watford supporters, please hit that request button and come on board here on X. We'll all listen to you. And if you would like to just make a comment on X, you're more than welcome. I'll read that out and we can talk about that as well. But I want to also quickly say here for the YouTubers who have really been queuing up with their comments, thank you all for doing that. It's a great pleasure to have you aboard here on the You ORNS Watford FC post-match. Yours truly, Omar here, fellow Watford supporter, all the way out here in San Francisco, California. It's delightful to have you here, especially after a win. It's really, really good to see Watford supporters coming together after wins, because we tend to get more Watford supporters coming on after defeats rather than after wins. And today it's really lovely to start a brand new month, the first day of a brand new month with a victory. That is absolutely solid and sweet and sensational. Now, here's what Brown Electron says on YouTube, fellow Watford supporters. How many fans, Brown says, were calling for a lineup like this? It's taken us this long to realize our best team. Overall, great performance, says Brown, though, and excited to see this heavy team. Absolutely, Brown. I second that as well. I think so, many Watford supporters were second and third and fourth. What you've said with your comment there. We've been, as you said, Brown, this has been 13 games now, and we have been searching for an identity. We're beginning to see it. We kept disclaiming the repeated lineup changes, 4 changes here, 5 changes there. You could forgive Javi for doing it because he'd just come back in, brand new team, brand new scenario for him. So it's going to happen, but it's still going to take some more time. I think this is not the best Watford that we've seen yet. I think there's still a gear to go with this team. Everybody knows, Brown and everyone else listening and watching, that we have a sensational squad. And that's not puffing us up or bigging us up. It's not bigging us up. We've had 15 quality signings, and half of them haven't really had a real go. Such is the bounteous glory of this squad of youngsters. And all this concern about, whoa, they're too young. And the bottom line is that it's been a very good set of players on this side who need to be together. Today we saw togetherness. And this probably is the best team that we have so far in terms of 1 through 11 to start with. We've got players like Petri who comes in later. You've got the Mendy's who are nowhere to be found. You've got Petri, as I just said, who comes in and does a good job. Elaine's not had a kick really in these last, 2 or 3 games, and for any, since the Oxford game, I think was the last time when he had the own goal after 2 or 3 minutes. I think it was the last time that we saw Elaine in the side, if I'm not mistaken, off of memory. But look, it does take time, and I still think that as good as we were today, I think there's more to come. I really do. And once Javi sorts that out, we are going to be just fine. All right, let me read out some more from you on YouTube. Matt says, from the commentary on BBC 3CR, and they do a good job there at BBC 3CR. Jeff Doyle and Del Payne, Derek Payne, of course, former Watford midfielder for us back in the day. And Matt, thank you for the comment. He says this on YouTube, from the commentary on BBC 3CR, they thought Middlesbrough was complaining about a foul from Bar before the goal from Doumbia. Interesting one, that. Matt, I will have to look at the replay again. I've got the full match that I can watch back at my disposal here before I can really have a comment with you about that. But it's an observation that you make, and thank you for making it, Matt. As I think we were speaking about earlier, well, I mentioned this earlier, Watford supporters, that sensational goal from Doumbia did take a flick or a slight deflection, quite noticeable deflection, off of Luka Kiramgor. And Luka was in an offside position. And I had not realized that on first glance until Watford fans had come in on X saying the same. Saying that. And then I saw the replay about 15 minutes ago as I was talking with you all here. And yeah, it did take a deflection off of him. So I was quite surprised that the linesman did not see that. But hey, if it was VAR, he would not have had that sensational goal that he had. But Doumbia is a quality player. There's always a bit about Doumbia. There's always a touch of brilliance and skill. Well, he's always got that. It's more than a touch of those things. But what Doumbia gives you is some pace, and he gives you some muscle up front. He may not be the most physically imposing, but he's big, he's lanky, he is fearless. He gives us the fearlessness. He gives us a bit more teeth in our attacking too. And so if you've got Doumbia and Luka, and they can build the same partnership that we've seen, of course, in 4-4-2's past under Javi, then this looks like a very good recipe up top. I love the fact that Semedo came into the game late and did what he does. I mean, he didn't have a lot to show for the last few minutes, but the point is that the versatility of the squad is so good. I love to come on here and say positive things. I'm not a negative person, and nor are the vast majority of you as Watford supporters. We love to come on here and glory in a performance like this and find nothing. I can't find any fault, and I don't want to find fault about this performance. They were fantastic today, the lads, from the word go. And that's what you want to see. The fans, thank you to Watford fans, the Watford faithful at the Vic. did a fantastic job today. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Singing Javi's praises, talking about the squad, singing and bigging up all the lads. They were all good today. Matty Pollock, sensational today. I mean, again, the You Orns man of the match, it's going to be a trifecta from me. The You Orns Watford FC man of the match, Matty Pollock, Imran Louza, and Jeremy Ngakia. Those are my three. You can come on the line and tell us all who your man of the match is, and on YouTube as well. Put it in the comments. I'll read them all out. What a sensational performance by the team at large. But the beautiful thing is that we're seeing Javi's only been in, what, a month? Barely. This is the longest amount of time that he's had with them between games. And you're beginning to slowly but surely see what it is Javi is asking of his team. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. I think this was fourth or fifth game in charge. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful today. Javi the Marvelous. And there was a great picture on Watford's socials, by the way, of Quadro Bar and Imran Louza together after. I forget which goal it was, but it was a great, for whoever took that photo, whether it was Alan Cozzy's son there, who does a great job at the photographing, or whomever it was. Great photo. And I captioned it on X at You Orns WFC. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Those of you who are of a certain age, like yours truly, know what I'm talking about there. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid today. Quadro Par and Imran Louza. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely love it. More of your comments here. And I'm still not forgetting the comment that I'm going to make about performance and analysis of it and what Javi talked about in the Watford Observer. Now, Matt, again, your comment I really appreciate. Thank you very much indeed. Keep them coming, fellow Watford supporters. It's always glorious to have you aboard. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate you, and you are valued and respected. Remember, one thing I want to say before we continue, this is a very important thing, and I do say this a lot more often these days. Take care of your mental health. If you're having issues or know anyone is having issues with mental health, please seek help. I know in the UK there's the Samaritans, and you can email joe@samaritans.org. Joe, that's J-O @samaritans.org. But I say that because I think, look, we can take nothing for granted here. Mental health is very important. A lot of us don't talk about it. It's important to take time away from social media and get a good night's sleep. And be good to yourself. Do things that bring joy to your life. Watford, at least today, brings joy to my life and yours as well, obviously. But this club is a dream, and we love it. We've got to get our arms around the club. Yes, there are things that go on at the club sometimes that we don't like, sometimes that I've talked about as well. But it's really good on days like this. It's good every day as Watford Football Club's concerned, because I love this club dearly, as do you all. But we really must take stock of all of this and take stock of your mental health. It's so important. Do those things that bring you joy, that put a smile on your face, and just be thankful for every day. I just want to say that. But there's so many great comments coming in on YouTube. Thank you so much for this. Brown Electrons with his comment, Matt with his comment, and Matt also says, also at the moment on BBC Sport website, has that third goal down as a Kiramgor goal. Very interesting. Very interesting. Matt, thank you for that. I have not had a chance to look, and I trust your judgment. I know you're not going to steer us wrong here on the You Orns Watford FC post-match. According to Matt, you can look at the BBC website for yourself, the sport website, which I haven't got up here at the minute. The goal now is going down as a Kiramgor goal for the third goal. That's what they've got on their site. And I'm sure the EFL Goals Committee will actually confirm one way or another the situation. So we'll keep our eye out for that one. But thanks for Matt. Thank you for mentioning it, because these things do matter in the end. And if that's the case, that would be Kiramgor scoring 2 today. That's what that would be. So in a very interesting way, it would be the second time this season that Kiramgor has scored twice in a game, both times coming at the Vic. So I think that's very interesting if that indeed holds as Kiramgor's goal. Now, listen, it looked to me, Matt, and I'm not contesting what you're saying about the BBC, but it looks to me, Matt, and I looked at the replay twice, that Kiramgor looked to be in an offside position. I was looking at the replay and the other monitor I've got here, and it looked to me, at the time, that it looked to me that he was in an offside position, Luca. But we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, if the BBC has it, not that the BBC can't be wrong, um, but if the BBC is looking at that and saying it's a Kurumgor goal, we'll look at it and see. Thank you, Matt, for that. Brown Electrons continues with the comments and the emojis. Good job from you, Brown, on YouTube. Billy Hughes, hello, Billy, on YouTube. He says, that was the best I have seen Watford in a long time. Billy, I would certainly say that this was a really strong performance today. It is the best Watford performance, certainly at home this season. There was no weakness in this performance, Billy, from start to finish. You know, as I said earlier, before your comment, and I know you made your comment about 20 minutes ago because there's a load of them coming in. I did say this earlier. We really are so used to seeing Watford performances where the first half is really good and the second half terrible, or the first half is terrible and the second half is only better marginally. We've had that so often, home and away, especially away. And we've had it at home over a number of seasons, Billy. But today, there was no weakness from half to half. You could have closed your eyes on the first half and seen the second half and said, wow, that's a great performance. But you would have missed exactly the same thing in that first half because the first half was exactly the same as the second. These lads today, I thought, gave us a really good balance on the pitch, and their attitude was balanced. The attitude was really balanced and strong. So, Billy, thank you for that comment. Philip Mason. Hello, Philip. Good to see you on YouTube once again, and always appreciate what you have to say as a fellow Watford supporter. And Philip says the following here. Apart from putting Sissoko and Kayembe on the bench, I still think that Gracia doesn't know his best side, and he definitely likes Tom Ince. Yes, he does, Philip Mason. And I like the point you make about Gracia, because although you can see what Javi's doing, and he does have an 11 here that looks strong and look established, I did say a few times today so far here is that it's going to still take Javi a bit of time, and that you haven't seen the best Watford yet. As good as this Watford were today, I said that earlier. You have not seen the best Watford yet, and I said earlier that Watford still have a bit to go. There's still a bit more in this team and this squad that you can get out of this lot, that you can really get performance-wise, that you can get. So I'm with you, Philip. I don't know that I'm inclined to agree with you. I don't really know that he has his best side yet, and I don't know that he knows that he does. He's still tinkering. He's only been here for 5 games. So I'm listen. I am of the mind, Philip Mason, that you're correct. I agree with you. But listen, Tom Ince is definitely one that a man that he prefers. Tom, and I know you said Tim, but that's all right. I know you mean Tom. Tom Ince. Listen, he's a solid professional. Some Watford fans love him. Some Watford fans don't like him particularly. Listen, with everything else in the world, right? Some people like things, some people don't. But Tom Ince, to me, has been a solid professional here. He's not always got the playing time that I think he should get at times. He's much more effective coming off the bench in this at this point in his career. And Javi Gracia knows how to use him. Listen, Gracia has studied these players very closely from afar. And Tom Ince is one of them. And he's still a very, I shouldn't use the word still. He remains and continues to be, let me use those words instead, continues to be a very useful player. And Philip, it's great to see you also on X as well, making the comments as always, and then joining us on X as well. Ambidextrous, if I can pronounce it properly. Ambidextrous, Philip Mason. Thank you for being on X as well and with your comment. And I agree. Tom Ince, listen, Tom Ince is a very serviceable professional. He can be used in key areas on the pitch. Leadership-wise, he's effective. He can give you that. And, you know, he knows how to get stuck in. And you saw Watford players get stuck in today during the course of this game from start to finish. Brown Electron says, I like Kayembe and still think he has a place in this team with Sissoko. It's more that I just think he's done as a footballer. Sad to see his decline, but his decline is obvious. Brown, thank you for the comment there. Sissoko, he has seen better days, I would agree. I look forward to him coming on the pitch toward the end of these games, as he has done in 1 or 2 of the games. He can still get you a goal here and there. But I think that Sissoko loves Watford. I think he's happy to be here. Some fans like him, some fans don't. But I do think he still has a place in the team. Coming off the bench is really where it's going to be for him. I totally agree with that kind of line of thinking. And so there we go on that. Thank you very much indeed for the comment there, Brown. Matt says, after 13 games, 18 points and only 4 points out the playoff places, which I will take. with a new manager, having a new manager here who's still learning what will work for this team. Absolutely. Javi's been here 4 or 5 games. I think it's been 5 games with 4 games, because the 9th game was when this manager got sacked, right? Yeah. We had 9 games, 9 league games at least under the other manager. He got sacked after that 9th game, didn't he? And then it was 4 games under Javi. We lost the first one, then we won the second one, lost the last one against Coventry, and we won again today. So that's 4 matches under Javi. 2 wins, 2 defeats. Lost one, lost one. You know, LW, LW. That is the 4 games under Javi. Both the home games we've won, both the away games we've lost. So that's where we are with Javi at the minute. And that's a big win for us. It's a difficult stretch of fixtures for Watford, considering the quality of the opposition. We didn't show Middlesbrough any respect this week. We didn't show Coventry any respect last week. We won the game this week. We lost the game last week. I mean, this is what happens in football. And it's so good to see Javi back here. It really is. And Brown says, Selbit looking convincing as well today. Yes, Brown, he certainly did. Solvik was Selvik. I mean, Selvik today gave you the strength and power with a punch. Didn't he punch that ball a million miles? Every time out, made some excellent saves. There was a shot from Matt Target, I think, that was going in on target, trust me, into that top right-hand corner of the Watford net in front of the rookery before that excellent save made by Selvik. That was the save of the day from him, but he made a number of other saves, and there was some great defending by Ngakia and Pollock. What a performance today from Matty Pollock, from Egil Selvik, and from Jeremy Ngakia. Again, the YOU ORNS Watford FC man of the match is a triple today. If you've got 3 of the best, Jeremy Ngakia, Imran Louza, and Matty Pollock, all 3 of them today were fantastic. You can make a case for anyone on this side, but those 3 in particular stood out for me today all day long. And if I remember correctly, I don't think any of those 3 was subbed. Maybe Louza was subbed. Yeah, maybe Louza was subbed toward the end. But other than Louza coming off, perhaps, the other 2 did not get subbed. I don't think Hector got subbed either. Hector was also very good, as I mentioned earlier. My man of the match, says Matt, has to be Pollock, because you could tell he wanted a clean sheet in this game. Matt, thank you for bringing this up again. I may have mentioned the clean sheet earlier, or I may have not. But Watford supporters coming again to the rescue. Matt is correct about this. The first clean sheet of our season today. And we had been the only side in the entire English Football League Championship who had yet to have a clean sheet. It was going to come eventually, right? And we got it today. Now perhaps we can build on this and build off this base. A clean sheet for 97 minutes of football. Congratulations, Watford. And you could see it was coming. We had some halves over recent weeks under Javi and beyond, where we had a half where there was a clean sheet kept. We kept a clean sheet in the second half of last week against Coventry. Remember, Coventry got those 3 goals at halftime, before halftime, and in the first half, obviously. So we kept a clean sheet second half against Coventry last week, and now we have 2 halves of clean sheets now. So that's 3 halves of clean sheets now over these last a game and a half. And you've got to look at that because the bottom line is that we are beginning to establish a defensive identity that we had been searching for the entire first 12 games. And we're beginning to see it now under Javi Gracia. And we are absolutely loving this today. I'm just delighted with the performance. I really am. And I'm, again, haven't forgotten what I'm going to say about Watford and performances, but I just want to get to read these comments out here. There's a couple more to read. Brown says, Loser is my man of the match, but everyone out there put in a 9 today. That's a 9 out of 10, of course, as Brown alludes to. Thank you, Brown, for that comment. And yeah, again, you can't go wrong with Pollock or Loser as man of the match. Yeah, and that's a fair point. Everyone put a 9 out there. I think so. That's a 9 today. I agree. You know, everyone was really very good. Excellent. And Ngakia, I thought, was really good, both ends of the ball. In defense, he made some great interceptions and interventions. He cleared the ball well. He played out from the back very well today, as he often does, Jeremy Ngakia. Put some real good transition play out there. His transition play today in Ngakia was very good. Very good out from out the back. You like defenders and wing backs who are really good in transition, can really turn things around. That nifty defensive play that he made late in the game, when it looked for all the world that we would not have a clean sheet, when Pollock and he combined to get the ball out of danger, and there was a nifty flick I mean, it was a back heel. Well, that's really audacious in your 6-yard box to do that. And he did that to Ngakia, and it found a Watford man too, fellow teammate. So we were really good today. Ngakia, fantastic. So look, that's why I made all three of them the YOU ORNS Watford FC man of the match, because they all three were sensational. But Brown, you're absolutely right. Everyone did put out a 9 today. Matt says today the players look like they actually wanted to play for the shirt, the team and the fans, and not just for the money. Yeah, I think you're right there, Matt. Number one on that one. That's another good comment from you as ever. And Matt continues, what I loved with Javi today was he was talking to the whole team and then would give different information to individual players that needed some pointers. Another great point from you, Matt, because what I saw from him today was exactly what you've just described. I think what we all saw, whether we were at the Vic or whether we were from far-flung corners of the world, or whether we were in Hertfordshire or whether we were somewhere else up and down the United Kingdom, up and down the country in England and elsewhere across the UK, is that we saw a Javi, and he's done this before when he was here before, who is really engaged with the team. He's a player's manager. He knows how to get the best out of the team. He gives individualized instructions, not distractions. No sangria drinking for me last night. But he gives individual instructions, and he does give team instructions. And that's what good managers are supposed to do. That's what good managers do, right? Good managers actually care about the players, not just as players, but as people. And one of my enduring criticisms, and I know I'm not alone in this, is that the previous manager didn't seem to really give a rat's damn about these players as people, as human beings. And look, you've got a young side, a young squad, and you have to know how to be a people manager. Some of the most successful managers have been very good at people management, and there are some managers who were successful who may not have been the best, right? But forgive me for mentioning people who are not at our club. People like Jurgen Klopp, formerly of Liverpool, knew how to do that. He was a player's manager, right? He may not have got the success prior to Liverpool. He got some success with Borussia Dortmund, right? But he didn't get the great success that he got until he came to Liverpool. And all of that was due to his people management. He was very good at managing personnel, at people, and knowing what made certain players tick and knowing what turned certain players off, knowing who to put an arm around, knowing who not to put an arm around, knowing how to give tough love to some players, and knowing how to, give a lot of praise for some play. I mean, that stuff's really important. And some of us, I don't know how many of us as Watford supporters really appreciate just how important that is. And I really am thankful that you pointed that out, Matt. I really am. Now, I want to get to the point I was going to make an awfully long time ago about performance and how Javi talked this week to the Watford Observer about performance and about the importance of analyzing performance and doing that rather than only looking at the result. And I think it's a really smart thing that Javi said there, because our performances this season, there's been maybe 2 games, maybe 3 tops, where we were absolutely nowhere to be seen. Those 2 home matches that we played that we weren't very good in, and the game against Millwall where we were very poor in as well. In fact, I think maybe 1 home match and 1 away match where we just didn't have a clue, which was the Millwall game and the Blackburn Rovers game. Those 2 matches we were poor in. We lost both of those matches by the same scoreline, right? We had a game last week where we also lost, right? But we lost 3-1. But our performance was much better in that 3-1 game, albeit the defensive problems that existed. But that performance away from home was arguably as good as the performance we had against Swansea away, where we got a point, and arguably much, much better than the performance we had in the game against Hull City or the game against Oxford, where we won. The reason why I say that the performance is important now, after this first 12 and now 13 games in the championship, and the reason why I really am on board with what Javi had said to the Watford Observer and about looking at the performance and analyzing it, is because at this point of our season, we've got what? Just roughly a quarter of the way into the season now. I mean, we're at 13 games is what? Just under a quarter of our season gone. You're still trying to work things out, right? You're still trying to figure things out in the first 10 games or so, as I've always said. The first 10 games, you're just trying to figure things out, right? Then you really start to look at the table after that. And now we're starting to look, at least I'm starting to look at the table. But the reason why I say this about the performance and analyzing it, about what Javi says, is because performance now brings identity and character. And I know the last manager started to build some of that character, and we've been getting some more of that under Javi. But figuring out what makes us really tick and what makes us efficient is a very important key to building more improvement from us. So performance is so important now, because now what we can do is look at what we have in front of us, look at what really works for us, look at where we're comfortable on the pitch. And I know this gets done from game one, but what I'm saying is the quality of performance is very important for us, because we can see a template and a marker of what it is our identity is and what we can do on the pitch, where we can obviously improve. But more importantly, even than all of that, from a fan perspective, from a supporter perspective, looking at the quality of performance really allows us as fans to see what's happening on this pitch with these players, and also look at where we can even strengthen if we have to go into the market in January. And performance is important for building character, for building unity, for building squad spirit. And one thing I saw that I cannot miss out on is Elaine. Even though he didn't play, hadn't played the last couple of games, really hasn't started them, he has some big smiles on his face. And I know we were leading in the game at the time. I think it was 2-0 at the time. But Elaine looked really happy, and he didn't play. He was on the pitch, he was on the bench smiling. He could be seen smiling. I saw that. I took really careful note of that, because even though he hasn't been on the pitch and hasn't started these games lately, and even though I would love to see him on the pitch and see him start, the fact that you saw a man that was smiling on the pitch, laughing, I mean, there were some jokes probably told, but so what? The fact that you've got players on that bench smiling, to me, is important, because sometimes those things get overlooked. Remember, we were here barely a month ago, right? Talking about barely a month ago, if not a bit more, talking about how Iran Kunda reacted when he got subbed off after 35 minutes. If our performances were something to be analyzed, and if our performances were going well, you might have seen something different from Iran Kunda. And if the previous manager had treated him with a bit more respect and hadn't been so mercenary toward he and the rest of the young Watford side, we might have seen a different kind of attitude. Performance is everything in many cases, but character means something. And if you don't have character, you don't have anything, performance or not. But the performance is important because it's important to show these young lads, especially these young lads, what their capability is, what they really can do. Young players can really suffer from a crisis of confidence. But performance is important at this point after the first quarter of the season is gone, because we can look at the performances, show these lads what they are capable of, build belief, build confidence, and build an identity and a spirit of brotherhood, because that's clearly happening. And we can also get behind these young lads, and these young lads can believe in themselves more and more each week. If you just look at these last two games, right? Look at the last two games. Even though maybe the last two, but I want to look at the last two. Even look at this game we lost last week. I thought that performance was encouraging. We showed no fear. We showed talent. Our defense, of course, was a liability, right? But we showed real signs and real blueprints in that Coventry match that we could go up against a team top of the table. We could go toe to toe with Coventry. We were giving Coventry a lot of fire. We outshot Coventry. I think we outshot them on target as well. And we really should have had at least a couple more goals against them. And had we taken those chances performance-wise, Rocco Vata after a minute of the game, we could have absolutely made a real statement there. I thought, despite the loss last week, we made a statement, even with the poor defending. That's about performance and quality and character, even though we lost, despite the poor defending. Today, look what we got. We got more of what we got against Coventry, only we got balance. What we got in this game was balance from front to back to front. We got confidence. We got belief in ourselves. We look like a very mature side, very mature. We were a very mature side out there for a bunch of youngsters, very mature. I'm not trying to denigrate youngsters or being young, right? We got a bunch of really competent professionals out there who believe in each other, who played together on the same page. There was a togetherness, as I said. There was a belief in us. There was strength in character. There was a certitude about us, a real confidence. And that's what performance brings. That's what quality of performance brings. That's why it's important now, after these first 10, 12 games are gone, to start looking at the performances, analyze the quality from minute 1 to minute 97, right? That is what really, for me, makes a difference now that we've gone through the first 12, 13 matches. Lee Thistlethwaite. Thank you very much, Lee Thistlethwaite, on You ORNS WFC on YouTube. And please subscribe to the You ORNS WFC YouTube channel. Please subscribe also to the Substack channel as well. I haven't even mentioned Substack. I know there's so much work to do that I will continue to get done on Substack. Please subscribe. It's You ORNS WFC, the number 1.substack.com. Okay, so that is something that I would really like you to do. You ORNS WFC, the number 1.substack.com. That I'm going to be pinning to the chat in YouTube at You ORNS WFC momentarily. So I do hope that you see that if you are watching now on YouTube. And by the way, fellow Watch supporters, it's a great pleasure to have you here. Please subscribe to the You ORNS WFC YouTube channel. And also, please follow at You ORNS WFC on X and on Insta. And of course, please again, subscribe to You ORNS WFC, the number 1.substack.com. Videos coming there, all kinds of written things are already up there that I've written, and more to come, lots more to come. Lee Thistlethwaite, thank you again for your comments I'm about to read. As soon as I seen the stat about Watford being the only team in all 4 leagues that haven't kept a clean sheet this season, all season, so new with my beloved Boro being the record breakers that they are, smash that one. Lee, a Boro supporter, thank you for your comments. It's very kind. Yeah, Lee, I got to tell you, and I know you're a Boro supporter. Thanks for coming in and saying a kind word. And I'm going to add something because I've got to read another comment from you in a moment. That's that kind of commentator curse, isn't it? That stat curse, when that stat flashes up on the screen. And thanks also for adding that Watford had been the only team in all of in English football in the EFL 4 divisions, 4 leagues to do that, because I thought it was only the championship, but I think you are right. I think it is the entirety of the 92 clubs or so. So thanks for that. But Lee, that's absolutely the commentator curse, isn't it? It's that whole thing about stats, the curse of stats and commentator curses, right? And then lo and behold, of course, the opposite happens, right? And I don't like when these commentators or when there's this, come out and say these things, and then lo and behold, the opposite happens, or the thing that they say is not going to happen happens. It's the opposite that happens. It's a real curse. Lee, thank you for the comment. And Lee Thistlethwaite adds this: congratulations, Watford, you exposed what I knew would happen. Our league position is more about Lady Luck perching to us. She flew the coop. Now, though, thanks for that, Watford. FS, and we know what that means. For F's sake, better team won. Lee Thistlethwaite, thank you for the class that you show in coming on here as a Boro supporter to this Watford channel and showing some real class in defeat. I know that you're obviously frustrated with your performance for your team today, but don't discount your Boro yet. I know you're not. And I wish you lot the best of success. I know you have a former manager of ours there in Rob Edwards, who I think is going to take good care of you this season. I hear what you're saying about Lady Luck. In football, it's not how you start these games and these matches. It's not as much about that. It's about how you finish, right? It's not so much as how you start the season, I should say. It's about how you finish the season. And very true. I understand what you're saying about Boro. I can't even get seduced by these table positions. And I've said many times that even these first 5, 6, 10 games, Yeah, we'd like to be higher as a Watford side, but it's really about how you finish the season. Yes, ideally, we'd all love to be Coventry City and Boro, way at the top of the table after 13 games. Them two teams are 1 and 2, but both of them lost in the space of 24 hours. And I remember last season when Sheffield United was way at the top of the table, and I was thinking they were going to run away with it, but they did not get promoted last season, did they? And we know what happened to them in that playoff final, and we know where they are in the league now. So I understand what Lee's saying. Lee, thank you for that. Good class from you, real class. To see from what to see, excuse me, supporters coming in from defeated sides and being gracious in defeat. You don't get that a whole lot. But you know what I find? I do find a lot of the teams in the northeast of the country and in the northern part of the country in England, uh, uh, I do find them to be a lot more charitable in defeat than some of the local sides. You know, obviously that lot up the road from us, they ain't going to be coming and congratulating us on a win. You think that lot of the dog kennel, the doggy kennel, you think that lot going to come up and come on here and talk about well done Watford? Of course not. That's obviously understandable. It's like Sunderland. You expect Sunderland to come up to the lads at Middlesbrough there at the Riverside and go, good job. You turned us over today. Good job. That ain't happening. That is not how you think Newcastle are going to do that. Never going to happen to a Middlesbrough. That you ain't never seen that at Middlesbrough, unless that Middlesbrough. And even if the Middlesbrough fan was even if that Newcastle fan was your spouse, they wouldn't be congratulating you on a win. If that Sunderland fan was your spouse, they wouldn't be congratulating Middlesbrough on a win against them, against anybody. Anyway, Lee, good job from you. Thank you very much indeed for that. Brown Electron says Doumbia deserves to start consistently now. He has earned it. Brown, I agree with you. He absolutely has earned it. Brown says finally here, everyone is a former manager of ours. Ha ha. Indeed, it is very so true, Brown. There's no doubt about it. Everyone is a former manager of ours, and you got to love it, don't you? You stick around in this game long enough, you will have, knowing with this ownership that we've got, you will have a former manager facing you. And we've already had that twice now this season, 3 times this season. We had that with Valerian Ishmael as he got the win against Blackburn, so it was a happy return for him at the Vic. We had that obviously with Chris Wilder at Sheffield United. Of course, that was the game we lost at Bramall Lane a few weeks ago, where we just weren't very good at all. That was the other away game I was trying to think of, not the home match, where we were poor. We've had 3 poor games: Sheffield United, Blackburn, and the game against Millwall. And then, of course, we had the other ex-manager of ours here today, Mr. Rob Edwards, who some of us are still sore about leaving here. Not that he left, it's because the owner sacked him. Some of us are still ain't forgotten about Rob Edwards being sacked after 10 championship matches a few years ago. But listen, I think that time's passed, and obviously we haven't forgot what he did at that club up the road. But the bottom line is now that's all forgotten. Well, it's not all forgotten, not by me at least. But the bottom line is that now he's at Middlesbrough and he's doing a fantastic job. So look, I know Lee talked about this earlier as a Borough fan. Lee come on and talked about it, and obviously that was a good class. So that was a lot of class from Lee today, and thanks again, Lee, for that. But the bottom line is that I do find a lot of the clubs up north a lot more charitable in defeat, and not every club up north does that. But I do find the Middlesbroughs and your Leeds Uniteds and whatnot, that lot can be very charitable in some cases when they lose. Not always. It depends who they're playing. But I can tell you, a season or two ago, when Watford gave Leeds a really hard time, and I think in one case we either lost to them or beat them. I forget, several years ago. I forget when it was. There were some Leeds fans who come on here that were very nice. In fact, when Leeds beat us, there were some Leeds fans that come on here that were very nice. And they were really charitable. They were decent. You know that? I'm not trying to, I'm just telling you what the experience has been for me as a Watford supporter for all these many years, all my life. And I've always noticed that, I've always noticed the northern clubs and the fan bases at the northern clubs tend to be a little bit more salt of the earth. They really do. They actually, they actually do show a bit of respect and appreciation. And it's not always the case, but I'm just saying they can be a lot more gracious in defeat than some of the London clubs can be. and all of that. Anyway, I don't want to get too far off the point here. But Lee, thanks for that. And Lee actually chimes in with something else. Goals win games. We lack that consistency. Like all teams, we need a 20-plus striker. Appreciate your kind words. It's football, gracious in defeat. Core, because the next win or loss will be sooner rather than later. Lee, good job again. Fantastic stuff from you, Lee Thistlewaite. Coming in there as a Boro fan. We've had this. We've had some Portsmouth fans come on here from in the South Coast coming on a few weeks ago, wishing us well. You know, this is good stuff. And good luck to you, Lee. And as I know they say up the Borough, they're up there in Middlesbrough. Safe trip back. I don't know if you were at the game today. Maybe you're up in Middlesbrough or wherever you might be in the world or across the land in the United Kingdom or in England particularly. But good job from you again. Thanks again for that, for those kind remarks today. Really appreciate that. And Brown Electron says, I'll take them over Palace and Bournemouth fans. Oh, absolutely. Brown, 100%, mate. I would say that's it. You know what? That's the You ORNS Watford FC comment of the game. That is the one. Brown Electrons there. I'll take them over Palace and Bournemouth fans. That is the You ORNS Watford FC fan comment of today, of the game, of the match, of this live. Absolutely. You know what? I'll take Middlesbrough fans over them. Absolutely. I mean, Palace fans? Oh my God. Bournemouth? You see, the thing with Bournemouth is, and listen, fair play to Bournemouth. They're having a great season in the Premier League, right? They're in the top 2 or 3. I think they're in the second place. Before, I don't know what happened today. I haven't watched yet. But Bournemouth, I mean, fair play to them. They got a good manager, but them fans are really mouthy. Them Bournemouth fans, and that ground is the size of a matchbox. I mean, they are in the Premier League, so they got that over us. But Bournemouth fans are so mouthy. Oh my God. A little bit of glory, and they think that they've won the World Cup or something. They think they won the Champions League. Come on, Bournemouth. Steady on. With fair play to you, you're doing very nicely. I'm not going to begrudge your success. You've done a good job. But you've got Semenyo. He's a blooming good striker, that Semenyo. That's a guy that will get you 20, Lee. If he ever, I don't know if Semenyo ever played for your side previously, but blimey. Let me tell you something about Semenyo. He's a bloody good player. And he'll probably get you 20 this season in the Prem. But Bournemouth fans, steady on. I mean, listen, I'm got nothing against, but Bournemouth fans can be really mouthy. I don't know, maybe, listen, and also, I'm not trying to slag them off, though, but I'm just telling you the truth, mate. Palace fans, oh my God. And by the way, Palace fans and Brighton fans do not mix. I think, and there's a good point you make there, Brown, because Palace fans and Brighton fans hate each other even more. Much more than Watford fans and Palace fans do. I think Watford fans and Palace fans, we don't like each other particularly, but I think it's not the end of the world, right? It's not the end of the world, but I think Palace fans and Brighton fans, ooh, that is a rabid situation. And you don't want, listen, let me tell you something. Palace and Brighton can't stand each other. They can't. And it's what? There's 25 miles difference between them. I forgot what highway it is. What motorway it is. But bloody hell, them two, if you put them in a jail cell together, put it this way, yeah. But no, Palace fans can be insufferable too. And look, it's so interesting. Palace are having a very good season as well. Listen. Look, we have a couple of ex-Watford players on that Palace side, right? We have Will Hughes on that side now, and we got, Ismail Assar. Blimey, he's looking like a Rolls Royce with them, like he was with us for a bit before he couldn't score again. But yeah, pass. That's a good call. That is the You ORNS Watford FC fan comment of the match. Good job there, Brown. I'll take them over Palace and Bournemouth fans. And he's referring to are Portsmouth fans, but also Middlesbrough fans, because Portsmouth fans aren't too bad, even though they're on the South Coast. A great win today, says Len J. Come on, You ORNS. Good job there, Len. Thanks very much for that. Brown starts to have a laugh with us as well. Good job, Brown Electrons. Lee says, yes, I was at the game, traveling home now. Good luck for the rest of the season, Watford. Had a good time despite the result. Up the Borough, he says. All the best, matey. Quality channel. Thank you, Lee. Lee Thistlethwaite. A good job from him. I'll shout him out here. Also, as a good sport, the You ORNS good sport of the day. Lee Thistlethwaite from Middlesbrough. He's up the road. He's traveling all the way back. That's a 4-hour trip by coach, mate. Something like that. But wherever you are traveling, be safe there, Lee. And you and the Middlesbrough fans, good job from all of you today. You were still chanting out up the Borough at the end of the game, even after you've been well beat by us today. And look, you lot will have better days than this today. Every team, large or small, high or low, is going to take a loss for the season and take a pretty tough loss. We took one last week against Coventry that was pretty tough, pretty bad one, and you took one too today from us, but you'll bounce back there. Rob Edwards and the lads, I'm sure you'll do well. Wishing you the best success for the rest of the season, of course, except against us. But good job, really good stuff, and thank you for the kind remarks, Lee. Lee Thistlethwaite doing a great job there today, and he is the YOU ORNS opposing fan, gets a good shout, the good sport of the day, I should say here, for Lee Thistlethwaite. Well done. Travel safely, please, Lee, you lot, and the rest of the Borough contingent who go all the way back up to Middlesbrough. That is quite a trip. You know, I know some fans will take a plane, some fans will take a coach, some fans will take a train, but that's a 3.5, nearly 4-hour trip back north, mate, to the northeast. Wow, good job up there, all the way back on I think Wearside. That's a really good trip. That's a long travel. That's what a supporter is. When you travel across the land like that, and Middlesbrough will be taking most of them trips all the way down. I mean, that's a lot of miles. Good job there as well, Lee. Again, thank you once again. Matt says, Omar, Bournemouth are away to Man City tomorrow. That's going to be a really good match, Matt. Thanks for that. Man City have not been great this season, and I think, quite frankly, they're in a rebuilding mode. They took a defeat last week to Aston Villa. It was 1-0. Villa beat them, and Villa had started really poorly this season, and now Villa are in the top 6 or 7. I mean, so that's a good job from you, Matt, once again. Thank you for that. Bournemouth at City tomorrow at the Etihad. City have already lost 4 times this season, or 3. Liverpool have already lost 4 times this season. They've lost 6 of the last 7 games. I have not seen what they do today. They lost at home to Man United. They lost at Brentford last weekend. They lost to Palace again. Jesus Lord, how many times are Liverpool going to lose to Palace this in the last 12 months? Oh my God, in the last 7 months, they've lost to them 3 times. They lost to them in the league this season. They lost to them in the Carabao Cup. I'm sure they didn't play all their regulars. Liverpool have been a pale shell of what they were last season. And some of the Liverpool fans, I know I'm diverting a bit from Watford here for a moment, but some of them Liverpool fans are going to be cursing the ownership now. How come they spent all this money? They spent too much money. They got too many new players in. And look, Florian Wirtz ain't done nothing for them. Let's be fair. Isak is injured. Ekitike, who was really sharp, is, not quite as sharp. He's still very good for Liverpool. And then you got all the rest of it there. Frimpong injured. I mean, stuff is not sticking. I mean, Cody Gakpo really is the only one doing anything good. And Salah's been awful. Let's be fair. Mohamed Salah has done nothing this season for you lot at Liverpool. But again, I don't want to get into it with Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans actually have been pretty decent. They've also shown a lot of class with Watford over the years. They've beat us like a drum up and down the country. They've beat us in all kinds of competitions. And they've always given us a lot of respect, even in defeats. They've been very, very good. And when we beat them, last time was a 3-0 a few years ago during the pandemic on that leap day, February 29th of 2020, when Sarr scored the 2 goals and Deeney scored the goal. They showed an awful lot of class. That was the first defeat that they had in the Premier League that season, on the way to a Premier League title under Jurgen Klopp. And they showed a lot of class that day when we beat them 3-0, the same that we beat Middlesbrough with today. 3-0, and they showed us a lot of. Liverpool fans can be very, and I've traveled up to Anfield. I've never been to an actual game at Anfield, but I've been up there to take a tour of the ground and been in the ground because I like Liverpool. Liverpool's a very good city. I love Liverpool. And so I do go up there to travel to the city and do sometimes stop by the ground and have a look and talk to some of the people at the ground, some of the officials there, some of the people who work the grounds crew, or not the grounds crew, but Liverpool employees. And they're always really nice. Always. I wear my Watford gear up there. I need to go to a match when Liverpool and Watford play up there, but I've been up there on a number of occasions. And always been they've always been they've always been good, even on a match day, even when I've been there on non-match days wearing Watford kit up at Liverpool, and they've been nice. Anyway, I talk about all these other fans, clubs and clubs fans and all the rest. But thank you for the comments there. By the way, Liverpool kick off against Villa in another 2 hours, because we are now 7 hours behind the United Kingdom. But that will change later on tonight, early tomorrow morning, as we put our clocks back 1 hour as well. So that is where we are as far as that goes. So we are currently 7 hours behind you. But we will be 8 hours behind you as of tomorrow morning here in the United States. So in 2 hours' time, Liverpool against Aston Villa. That's at 8 p.m. today, UK time. That's going to be quite a match. Villa are looking really good all of a sudden, aren't they? After that poor start, Liverpool are looking like a pale shadow of their former selves. I mean, look, they had a lot of adversity this season. They had the very tragic situation, of course, with Diego Jota. I could not believe that when I heard that in the summer. Jota and his brother killed in that horrible situation in Spain, I think it was, or in Portugal, I forget where. Very, very sad. And I think Jota might have played in that FA Cup semi-final against us. He might have. I think he did. It's just so sad. And so Liverpool had a lot of adversity over the years, particularly, obviously, with the justice for the 97 and the horrible things that happened many years ago at Hillsborough to those Liverpool fans. It was just awful. And then with personal tragedies, and then with the likes of Jota and his brother being killed earlier this year in that horrible situation. You know, Liverpool have gone through a lot of different things, and so we'll see how they do today against Villa. Villa, again, have found themselves, haven't they? And they're looking really good. Unai Emery's done a bloody good job with them, hasn't he? Brown Electrons, thank you for this comment that you make. Saar was untouchable that day, and he refers to that Watford 3 Liverpool 0 win when Saar was sensational. Didn't you remember that goal, Brown, that he scored? That second one, I think the second one where he chipped the ball over, I think either over the keeper or over a player, and it went into the back of the net. I think he chipped the ball over somebody. Either he or Deeney did it, but there were 2 great goals from Saar. I'm remembering off the top of my head, those 2 goals were sensational. Oh my God, they were really, really good goals. Saar, that is a great comment as well. Saar was untouchable that day. He really was. You know, Saar has, look, I know he's gone on to our rivals or our despised Palace. But blimey, he was really good for Watford at times. He was absolutely electric. And that day, that was one of his best days in the Watford shirt, wasn't it, Brown? Cool. What a performance that was. Oh, I remember that thing well. That was 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago plus. Can't believe it's been 5.5 years since we beat them 3-0. I know that, listen, I know that we've been out of the Premier League for a few years. That was 5.5 years ago. How time flies. February the 29th, 2020, on a leap year, leap day, right? And it was during the pandemic. I remember that so well. War. That was Liverpool's first defeat that season in the Prem. Brown Electrons is so excited for the rest of the season. I think some of the parts clicked today, and now we're going to see a team with a purpose and common goal. Brown, absolutely, we're going to see that today. I think you're absolutely right. I think this is, listen, I know we can sometimes, we can sometimes get ahead of ourselves, but you can see the progression under Javi already after 4 matches. I should really put these glasses on, shouldn't I? You can really see the progression under Javi here. And for those of you on X who are listening, I have just put on the yellow glasses that I have. Put them on after a victory. I should put them on more often after the wins. I haven't really been doing that this season. And it's also part of the Halloween costume that I wore yesterday, which I posted photos of on X at YOU ORNS WFC. I'll be putting them on Instagram at the same at YOU ORNS WFC address. But it's so true. I think we're going to go from strength to strength here. We've got a match next week, of course, so we'll look out for that. But I think it's Ipswich next week, isn't it? Ipswich away next week. Again, I don't have the fixtures in front of me. I know Matt will be good on that to fill us in on who we play next after this game today. But this was a very important win for us, a good bounce back. It showed the quality and character again. We have an identity that we're building, and I still think Watford can go further and go better than this. I think we've still got some more quality in us. I think we can still perform even better than we did today, as very good as the performance was, as excellent as it was from front to back. I think you still haven't seen the very best of this Watford side yet. Um, and that's what's exciting to me as a Watford supporter. That's what's exciting to you as fellow Watford supporters, is that the best is yet to come. I really do believe that. And I think Javi still needs some more time to get this put together the way he really wants to, you know? And you can see the template is coming into shape. I think by the time we get to the maybe 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th game of the season, you're going to really see Watford begin to do great things that we are hoping for, you know? So give Javi a bit more time. He's still got a few things, I think, to iron out. This was an excellent performance today from front to back by the whole team. But I still think that there's still more in us and about us that we can look at and improve on. As great as the performance was, I think there's still another gear in us. And I do like what we're doing right now. Even last week, I was very happy with what we did, except for the defending. And I could not be that disappointed in the last week. I was frustrated because we missed so many chances. But today, the difference was is that we took a lot more of our chances and we played very differently. We were very much the aggressor in many parts of the game last week. Today, we sat off, but we had a purpose for doing that. And I really do appreciate what we've done in the short period of time here. With the points that we've got, yes, we can still build, and there's a lot to build on. So I'm very pleased today. Matt says today we had our stingers sharpened. Absolutely, Matt. The Hornet sting was absolutely sharpened today. A 3-0 win over Boro, who are second in the table. That is a fantastic performance from us. We made Boro look ordinary. We handed them their first big defeat of the season, really, because they had not conceded 3 goals this season. In a Premier League, in a championship match until now. And we hadn't scored 3 in a championship match until now. And this was our first clean sheet of the season. That ended a 9-game run where we had conceded the first goal. Every one of those previous 9 games, we conceded the first goal. But not today. We didn't concede any goal today. We got 3 of our own. Well taken goals. Fantastic goals. Well struck, well timed, great teamwork. And so I'm very excited about what we've got going here. Yay for Sarr, second goal against Liverpool. It was Will Hughes backheel down the line. Deeney keeping it from going off and putting Sarr through, and Sarr chipping it over the goalkeeper. Absolutely, Matt. That's as I remember it for Watford 2, for Watford 3, Liverpool 0, back then 5.5 plus years ago. That was a special game for Sarr, and Deeney scored as well, of course. But yeah, Deeney did put the ball in. I remember that, and he did chip it over the goalkeeper who was coming out off his line, I think. It was a really confident Ismaila Sarr, and you're seeing that. Listen, I watch football beyond Watford as much as I love my own team. I do watch, and I'm sure you do. We're all football fans, so we do watch more games. We watch other games as well. And I've seen Sarr this season, and he's looked bloody good. I mean, he's looked bloody good. And you can see how, boy, he can be unplayable at times. Unplayable. And Will Hughes, who of course played a part in that game, as Matt pointed out 5.5 years ago, he talked about that game he referred to of 5.5 years ago against Liverpool. Boy, Will Hughes looks really settled in that side too. I think he comes off the bench now more than he starts. But Palace look bloody good, as much as I can't stand Palace. They've got a proper side, and Oliver Glasner's done a blooming good job there. And Mark Gahey's still there. Remember when Liverpool were looking to get him, and it looked like he was going to go to Liverpool? And Liverpool now, their defense is shambolic. And I told people, and some people I know who are Liverpool fans, and some of my relatives who are Liverpool fans. I said, look, that defense is going to be your Achilles heel this season. You did not get Gahey to stock up your back line, and now you're that's going to be the thing I'd be concerned about. And lo and behold, here we are. How many times Liverpool conceded at least 2 or 3 goals this season in a game? It's been a lot. They conceded 3 against Brentford, for God's sakes. And everybody tipped Brentford to go down. I did not. Many people had Brentford getting relegated this season, and I said no. That's really premature. Keith Andrews, who's a former Watford assistant coach, I think, and a Watford player for us in a few seasons ago, is managing that Brentford side now, and they look good. All the pundits, oh, Brentford are going down because Thomas Frank isn't there, and all the players are gone. Burma's gone, and Wissa's gone, and that one's gone, and the rest of them are gone. I'm like, that don't mean that they're going to struggle and get relegated because 4 players and the manager have gone, mate. I mean, Thomas Frank is doing a good job at Spurs, but it don't mean that now the sky's fallen up at the G-Tech Stadium. Because look where they are. They've done a blooming good job under Keith Andrews. Next game, says Matt, thank you for this, is Tuesday the 4th of November. Ooh, how about that? Just the day before Guy Fawkes night. That's going to be Tuesday against Ipswich away at Portman Road. We were all right against Ipswich the last time we played them away. That was a 0-0 game. We played at Portman Road in the midweek, maybe a year or two ago when Ipswich were back in the championship. They are back in the championship now. It was about a year or two ago. Remember that? And Kayembe had that long-range shot that almost went in at the end of the game. It was a 0-0. So we'll see how we do against Ipswich, who today put 4 past QPR at Loftus Road. So we'll be seeing about that. Thank you, Matt, for that. 7:45 kickoff. That's Tuesday. And by the way, there will not be a YOU ORNS post-match on YouTube on Tuesday, but there will be a YOU ORNS Watford FC post-match on X. So please come to us here, won't you, at YOU ORNS WFC on X for the next YOU ORNS Watford FC post-match. That will be on Tuesday night, November the 4th, at after the Ipswich match, after the Watford match at Ipswich at Portman Road. Portman Road, easy for me to say, as I am excited about this win.
Last week, a retired teacher came.
Oops! Oh dear, that might be. YouTube sometimes does that. You get these all of a sudden these videos start to play. Has that ever happened to you on YouTube? But boy, that can be still very jarring. Oh my goodness me. Halloween was yesterday. Come on, YouTube. Halloween was yesterday, mate. Well, Halloween did continue for Middlesbrough, unfortunately for them. But again, such class is our Boro fans like Lee Thistlethwaite, that it's really good to acknowledge them again. And Lee, to that end, is here again. Totally off topic, says Lee, who is traveling back up to Middlesbrough tonight. But what's your opinion on this point that up north starts at the Watford Gap? What's that all about? I don't know. I don't, you know, I don't, it's just very interesting, Lee. It's a good question. I don't really know how to answer it. I really need to, I don't know. I think that's a thing that over many years, there's been that thought about that. But I don't know that I even agree with that. You know what I mean? I don't really know that I agree with that, to be frank with you. And that notion that up north starts at the Watford Gap, that is something that has been gone around for decades. I think you know that, Lee. And for me, I don't like to, I don't, there is, listen, there, and I know it is off topic, as you point out, there is this whole thing about North and South in England. And as someone who was born and raised and grew up in England, lived in England for many years before coming out here, as someone who's from there, like you are, Lee, I've quite frankly never subscribed to it. But there is this North and South thing that really has gone on for a long, long time. The whole centralization of London being at the center of the universe. And I know London's a lovely city. That's where I'm from. I'm from just outside in the suburban London. I'm from, Pinner, actually, is to be precise, in northwest London, where Elton John is from, by the way. He's a Pinner lad like I am. But I never subscribed to that stuff, Lee, about the Watford Gap being the start of where the North goes. It's all one great nation. It's all one place, isn't it? At the end of the day, I know we look at Leeds, we look at this, we look at that. And it's like, I don't get caught up in that stuff. I really don't, Lee. I know there are many people who do, perhaps some people listening and watching. I don't really get caught up in it. Put it that way. Let me put it like that to you. Maybe not the smoothest answer that I've ever given to a question, but it's the honest answer. And I always like to be honest here because really, for me, that's the only way. Um, put it this way: I wish everybody the best up north, traveling safely wherever you are, and anywhere else in the land of England, and anywhere else in the nation, anywhere else across our United Kingdom. Right. So there we go. Um, yeah, I mean, I know Lee, and Lee talks about the working down south. Occasionally heard this Watford Gap thing. Yeah, I've seen that. You know where I've also heard that, Lee? I heard that 40 years ago in a Liverpool Anfield rap song called the Anfield Rap. And John Barnes, former Watford player, who of course went on to be a very fine Liverpool player in his own right, raps that on that tune. He's just from south of the Watford Gap. And this thing to me is just way overblown. Um, and yeah, I think some of it can be looked at as derogatory, as you point out. I just think it's overblown, and I think it's also something that really doesn't lack. I think it speaks to a lot of provincialism, quite frankly, Lee, about that. I think the North, put it this way, I do think that the North in football and in everywhere else has given short shrift a lot. That I will definitely agree that is a fact that happens. That's the truth. I think the North is really looked at in a derogatory way anyway by some people in the south of England, and some people particularly in London. Not everybody in London, but particularly some in London do. There's that perception about the North as being so-called, I don't know, backwards in some way. It's just a very peculiar thing, you know. But anyway, that's really, 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 really strange. But Lee, good question though about that. But look, listen, it's good to talk about these things every now and again because look, we're all in one place in England, right? I mean, I'm in the US right now, obviously, but we're all, listen, every time I come back, it's always great. Wherever I go, whether it's up to Liverpool, whether it's up to Manchester, whether it's to any other part of England or anywhere else in the UK for that matter, I'm a London lad at heart and a Pinner lad. And so, look, I always enjoy going up north. I've gone up to Newcastle. I've gone up to, gone up to Birmingham, which is not quite that far north, but I've been up to Newcastle. I've been up to that area of the country. And I know you don't like Newcastle very much there, Lee, as a Middlesbrough fan, but I've been all to these parts of the place. I've been all up. I've been all over the place. I've been all over England, and there's great places everywhere. There's great places everywhere. There's some tougher places everywhere too. So that's the point I'm making there, Lee. Thank you for the questions. And Matt, thank you for the comments as well. And Lee and Brown and everybody else here. It irks me to say this, says Brown, but they made the right choice by leaving. He's talking about Will Hughes and Ismail Assar is Brown. Our club was and sometimes still is a toxic mess. Brown, that's really true. And I know that on a day like this where everything's been near perfect, really perfect for us pretty much, I listen, it's true. They did get out while the getting was good, didn't they, Brown? Both Ismail Assar and Will Hughes. They got out when the getting was good and where they're going. And that's something that good for them. I've got no animus toward either of them as footballers. They did good jobs for us when they were here. Yes, the club made the decisions they made, and we can go on about that. And we've said a lot about that over the years, haven't we, Brown, as Watford supporters? But they did make the right decisions to leave. And good for them. Now they're thriving. They've won things at Palace, which we have not. They won a trophy for the first time in their history a few months ago, didn't they? They won a Charity Shield. I don't call it Community Shield. I'm from an older age, and I remember the Charity Shield. That's what it is, mate. They won that, So, hey, I'm going to tell you. Brown, good point, though. And Matt, thank you for talking about this. Bristol City at home on the 7th of November. That would be next Friday. And then it's another international break. God, bloody hell. These international breaks. I know there's a World Cup next year, and it's coming here to the US and to Mexico and to Canada. But my God, these international breaks are coming thick and fast. I don't know what's the international break, the actual international break or the games. I mean, we have so many international breaks, and I understand why for qualifiers, but blimey, I don't know what is the international break the actual games, or is the actual games that we're playing now, is that the international break? I forget. It seems like the international breaks feel longer than the actual games that we play during the period we play them. Um, Thank you very much, Matt, for that. Lee says, "Oh, I read that comment out. I remember that rap." Lee says, "Never knew that was mentioned though. LOL. Learn something new every day." Yeah, Lee, that's exactly right. John Barnes said that. I think it was John Barnes who says, and I think the proper quote is, "I'm just from south of the Watford Gap," something like that. Anybody can go and look that up on YouTube and listen to Anfield Rap and listen to that lyric. I think it's either John Barnes who says it or someone else on that Liverpool side from the mid or late 80s who says that. So you can listen, trust me on this. Barnes was on that record. There were other Liverpool players of the 80s back then, late 80s or whenever it was, on that Anfield Rap record. I remember it very clearly now. You can go and look that up on YouTube, folks. Thank you. Never heard. Lee says this. Borough fan Lee. He's done a good job here today, Lee. Thank you for that. You're always welcome back, you know, if you like to. Lee says, "Have never heard of New." What? Newcastle? Who are they? Seriously, though, your platform is definitely one of the better ones. Please keep it going. Lee, thank you so much for those kind remarks. And he's talking about the YOU ORNS WFC YouTube channel. Thank you, Lee. Thank you so very much indeed for that. I really do appreciate your kind words and your class. You exuded that throughout this time today. Keep it coming. And good luck to you lot the rest of the way. That's very kind. And Lee refers to the YOU ORNS WFC YouTube channel here on YouTube. So please, if you are watching or listening right now, do us a favor, like the videos and subscribe. We want that here. We love that here in San Francisco, California. It's great to have you aboard. So please subscribe to YOU ORNS WFC here on YouTube. Would love that. Thank you so very much indeed. And for those of you on X, thank you for listening as well. We're going to wrap that up here now. Half an hour to the match between Liverpool and Aston Villa. Excuse me, an hour and a half for the match between Liverpool and Aston Villa. We will put our clocks back 1 hour tonight here in the United States. For the vast majority of the US of A, we put our clocks back 1 hour. I don't know why we waited so late to do that this year. We normally do it in October. You lot there in the United Kingdom, my native country, in the US of A, in the UK, excuse me, and of course England included in that. Put your clocks back 1 hour last Sunday, an hour, and usually we do that before you do. Well, maybe that's not always true, but we usually do it in October like you lot did, my fellow country persons and compatriots did last week. I want to thank each and every one of you. The final score today at the Vic was Watford 3, Newcastle. See, Lee, look what you made me do, mate. I'm sure you'd be a lot happier that it was Newcastle. Who are they? Who's that lot? Toon Army? What? Leeds. What? St. James is who? Eddie who? Eddie how? How did he do it? Lee, I couldn't resist it, mate. Thank you. Final score from the Vic today was Watford 3. I did it again. He's done it again. It's happened again. It's happened again. Thanks for the subscription, Lee. It's really appreciated, mate. Can I go for 3 times? No, I'm not going to do it a 3rd time. Surely he won't miss this time from the penalty spot. Come on, you all, says Matt. Same again on Tuesday against Ipswich. Right on, mate. Absolutely. We want to keep going with this. I do not want to keep going with the incorrect team that we defeated today. So I will not do that in the spirit of accuracy and perhaps even hurting the feelings of a really good stand-up Borough fan named Lee Thistlewaite. He's done a really good job today. The final score from the Vic. And it's not Halloween, but maybe I had a Halloween hangover or something. Anyway, oh God, I don't even drink anymore. That's the other thing. Anyway, just imagine maybe if I did drink, I'd be better off. I wouldn't have messed this up twice already. Okay, the final score from Vicarage Road. Oh my God. I just cannot do this, mate. I cannot. Okay, the final score from Vicarage Road. Watford 3, Middlesbrough 0. Okay. Oh dear. Yay, he did it. Oh my God. All right. Thank you very much indeed, fellow Watford supporters, and to Boro supporter Lee Thistlethwaite for being a really good sport today. Oh my God, I'm just crying here. Take care of yourselves, everybody. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching and listening on X and here on YouTube, where you're watching and listening. And for those of you on X who are listening, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate and respect you as fellow Watford supporters. We all are here together, and even those supporters who don't support Watford, who come in here and really are classy lot, as is Lee today. Thank you so much, Lee, and to all of the Watford supporters who've listened, who've watched, who've contributed. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. We'll do this all over again, won't we? On X on a Tuesday night after the match between Portsmouth. Oh my God, where is the alcohol? Maybe I should start drinking again. It's not Portsmouth, mate, because you're thinking of Portman Road. And so you say Portsmouth because you mentioned Portsmouth about an hour ago here. And so that's why, Omar, you said Portsmouth, because you were thinking Portman Road and you were thinking Portsmouth. But Portsmouth don't play at Portman Road. They play at Fratton Park. So no. And we went there already this season and we had a 2-2 draw. So Omar, no. You're playing them at Portman Road, but it's Ipswich we're playing, as we play Ipswich on Tuesday night. We will be back after the game at Portman Road against Ipswich on Tuesday night here on YOU ORNS Watford FC post-match on X at YOU ORNS WFC. Please follow there. We will not be doing the visuals on Tuesday night, but look, we'll be back on Friday night, I think. Maybe not, actually. I'm not so sure about that either. But anyway, let's take one game at a time. Let's get one opponent correct at a time as well, Omar. How about that today? You got 2 wrong, and one of them you got wrong twice. Oh, dear. It is the 1st of November, so at least there's that. Take care, everyone. Yeah, Lee and Matt are just having a good time. Matt, this has been the funniest post-match yet. Thanks, Matt. Lee says, definitely cheered me up this. Top man, Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Yeah. Oh, the hits keep on coming there, Lee. Thank you. Max Bronstein, what? And then Lee says, later, Omar, take care. Thank you very much, Lee. Be well, mate. All of you lot, take care of yourselves. That's been it now from me here on this YOU ORNS Watford FC post-match. Take care. Be safe out there. Take care of your mental health, please. If you need help, again, it's joe@samaritans.org. That's JO@samaritans.org. And there's also a hotline for that too. So take care of your mental health. Be well. Take care. And from me, Omar, until next time, have a good day. Enjoy it, mate. Come on, you odds.